Mr. Chairman, my fellow delegates, fellow Americans, and those who do us honor to be visitors at this 25th convention of the Republican Party. In the campaign of 1944, I was designated to go to the great state of Maine, to Old Orchard Beach, and make a political speech. You good folks from Old Orchard and that area of that Commonwealth will remember. It was an outdoor meeting, and we had a national hookup. The stage was set just outside of the amusement park, and it was on Saturday night before Labor Day. I was suitably introduced and had uttered perhaps one paragraph when I heard a great and swelling noise. My spirit was distressed and I was deeply concerned. The chairman laid a reassuring hand upon my shoulder. He whispered in my ear and he said, "Congressman, it's only the tide rolling in." I had never had that beguiling experience before. I had never competed with the tide. It may be that old King Canute could roll back the waves, but I found that my feeble talent of expression was quite inadequate to that occasion. It brings to mind tonight the fact that a political convention that rings all the changes of human passion and intense interest is not unlike the storm-tossed ocean. I saw it yesterday. I saw the waves roll, and I wonder whether words are adequate to an occasion of this kind and whether they can have any persuasive effect upon you. But my friends, this I know. The height of the wave is measured from the calm level of the sea. The depth of the ocean is measured from its calm bosom. It's not the height of the wave that is going to do us good in the campaign that lies ahead. It is the force, I think, that lies in that great, calm, and potent volume that I like to think of as the Republican Party in 1952. What better can we do on an occasion of this kind when there is a challenge before us than to recur to the wisdom of a man who was extremely wise by the name of Paul. He simply said upon the sacred parchments long ago, "Come, let us reason together." And so in the time that is available to me, let's reason for a moment with a sense of responsibility that is becoming to the trustees of the Republican Party who are assembled in this convention tonight. This is just the beginning of our great spiritual adventure of 1952. We've had a habit of winning conventions and losing elections in the last 20 years. And I think the time has come to let reason persuade us, to let enduring judgment persuade us as we resolve the issue that is before us at the present time. When we go out on the hustings sometime later to present our cause to the American people, it will not only be the candidates that we present, it will not only be the platform, it will be the whole record of this convention and all of its proceedings. And ladies and gentlemen, it does distress me a little to think that we demean our own integrity here and impeach our own motives. As Republicans, we should not do it. Let's be ladies and gentlemen. Now I say from an earnest heart that I trust tonight we will not commit suicide and impair the chances of victory that are like something bright and iridescent upon the horizon right now. I say it with earnestness because most of my mature life has been given to the Republican Party. I served 16 years in the lower house of Congress, and by the grace and the goodness and the suffrage of the people of Illinois, they have permitted me to represent them in the Senate of the United States. I want to do nothing that will impair our chances in November of 1952. I say to you with all grace that I shall support the nominee of this convention, whoever he is, and give diligently and freely of my time. So I urge you tonight not to let passion, not to let momentary and transient hysteria set a roadblock in the path of what looks like a certain victory in November of 1952. So in that spirit, let's take a look at the proposition that is before us. This is a contest out of the sovereign state of Georgia. Let me ask you 1,200-odd jurors, how much do you know about it? How much do I know about it? I don't pretend to be an expert. I know very little about it, as a matter of fact. Would you like to pass upon the life of a man tonight with the meager and scanty evidence that is before you? No. Would you like to pass upon the life and the prospects of victory of a political institution called the Republican Party on the basis of the evidence that has been submitted to you tonight? I wouldn't. It is all too meager, and the party's life and the prospect of victory could be endangered here. Now then, what does reason say? First of all, this contest was submitted to the Republican National Committee. Do you know what the vote was? To seat the delegation that was recommended in the majority report. The vote was 62 to 39 in the Republican National Committee. What kind of an institution is it? To you, my gracious friends who have been doing the booing, and I'm accustomed to it, has it occurred to you that the Republican National Committee is the party's general staff? Has it occurred to you that you...
There's certainly some red-hot feelings on this point tonight, and Mr. Dirksen's having a little trouble with the crowd.
You that you picked the members of the Republican National Committee. That committee that you selected. By a vote of 62 to 39, brought in the majority report. Secondly, it went to the Credentials Committee. What was the vote there? 30 to 21 before a vote was changed. And the very distinguished member from the great Keystone Commonwealth of Pennsylvania changed his vote so that the vote was 29 to 22. Two instrumentalities of the Republican Party have said in effect to you to seat the delegation that was recommended in the majority report. And that's not all. And that's not all. The courts of Georgia, even though in the legal terminology they are the inferior courts, have upheld that decision. There are three instruments that say to you tonight to support the position that has been presented in the majority report. That's rather hard to escape, as a matter of fact. And a great institution like the Republican Party must do business through its committees. How easy it is for men, facile in the art of language, to stand up here tonight and talk about smoke-filled rooms. I shall never demean an instrument of the Republican Party and then with good grace ask the American voters to support us in November of 1952.
This is a real big gun orator, no question about it. And as I said before, this thoroughly demonstrates the importance with which the Taft people view this contest, that they wheeled out their greatest speaker, Senator Dirksen, to be their chief advocate in the case of the delegation from Georgia.
Now, my friends, what will be the effect of the action by this convention if you demean and if you impeach the recommendations of your own Republican National Committee and your own Credentials Committee that was selected after this convention got underway? I admit everything that my esteemed and gracious friend Governor Driscoll said. I can admit all of it, and then say to you that in view of the fact that the National Committee has passed upon it, do you want to say to the people of America and to the voters in November, we have a National Committee, but they are not trustworthy, and yet they'll be your general staff? To say to the voters of America, as you go before them for their suffrage in November, we assembled in the great metropolitan city upon the shores of Lake Michigan. We caucused at our respective hotels. All of our delegations selected a member to sit upon the Credentials Committee. They sat long hours. They came in with a report, but we don't believe the report of the very people that we selected. If we have no faith in each other, how in heaven's holy name are you going to sell the Republican cause to the voters in 1952? My friends, how much has been said of evil from this platform? How much has been said about morality? How much has been said about corruption? Has it occurred to you that the thing that might be done here tonight, if you embrace the minority report, may be a greater evil than the thing they have been preaching about so fluently from this platform? And now a special word to my good friends from the Eastern Seaboard. First, to my friends from Pennsylvania, where are you? Hold up your hands. I want to see you. Here they are, the great Keystone Commonwealth. You are a great state. I've been your guest many times. I've come to your state to address $100 dinners and to raise funds for the party. I've spoken in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, in Reading and Scranton, in Harrisburg and Carlisle. I've come to your bean soup celebrations. I stood with you in 1940. I stood with you in 1944. I stood with you in 1948 when you gave us a candidate. And I say in all humility, search your hearts again. Don't press this thing too lightly upon the Republican Party. To my friends from New York, when my friend Tom Dewey was the candidate in 44 and 48. I tried to be one of his best campaigners, and you asked him whether or not. I didn't go into 18 states one year, 23 states the next. Re-examine your hearts before you take this action and support the minority report, because we followed you before and you took us down the road to defeat, and don't do this to us.
And that is that Mr. Dirksen has succeeded in stirring up a lot of feeling on both sides of the aisle. A little hard to tell which way they feel, but he certainly has succeeded in stirring up the emotions of the people who are for him and the people who are against him. In this debate, which is to make a choice between the Taft and the Eisenhower delegates from the state of Georgia, Mr. Dirksen is advocating the seating of the Taft delegation. Here is Governor Dewey, to whom Mr. Dirksen made a direct appeal a moment ago.
Disorder in that part of the hall so the convention can proceed.
There's a great deal of confusion out there. Here goes a fight. There's a fight out. There's a crash. It's a photographer getting in trouble. I don't know who was hitting who. Somebody got knocked down, but it's pretty hard to tell who it was. Officers were in the middle of it. They really are having a time here tonight.
The delegates will please take their seats. This is no place for Republicans to be booing any other Republican. And I trust that in the future debate upon these contests that the galleries will refrain from booing any speaker.
This is Senator Dirksen again. You good shot of Governor Dewey.
Fellow delegates, I assure you that I didn't mean to precipitate a controversy over that section of the hall. I can only say to you, let there be an understanding heart as we approach this problem. Let's not demean ourselves as has been done here. And may you all have that degree of respect for the committees and the instruments of the Republican Party that heard all the testimony and that deserve something more than a casual consideration of the time that they devoted to it. The Credentials Committee comes in with a majority report. It was confirmed before by the National Committee. It was sustained by the courts of Georgia. What more can be done? And I think the action of those committees should be ratified, and you should vote no on the substitute motion.
Rather strange sight, the chairman of the evening congratulating one of the speakers. Certainly, Senator Dirksen stirred up a tremendous amount of emotion here, and as you can see, there's considerable excitement down here on the floor. Apparently, someone has been hurt and is being carried out, being wheeled out on a stretcher. It's impossible for us to tell from here who it may be, what may have been the cause of all this, but whoever it is, he's being taken outside now. Just before this, the police threw out a photographer, and there certainly has been a lot of excitement. And it's pretty hard to tell what was the original cause of that particular fracas, that somebody threw an awfully good punch there and somebody was knocked down and someone obviously was hurt in the proceedings. The emotions that have been stirred here have been very high and been very hot, and now, following the debate on the side of the Taft delegation, there will be a rebuttal by those who favor the Eisenhower delegation from Georgia.
Argument in rebuttal for the proponents of the minority report